Welcome to our Cleancast today. Thanks for joining us. I've entitled this one, The Devil Made Me Do It. Well, those of you that have been around a while may remember a TV show back in the 70s called The Flip Wilson Show. It starred, yeah, you guessed it, Flip Wilson. Flip played a number of characters. They had a great TV show. It played a number of characters. But one of those that he played that was really good was Geraldine. Geraldine was always telling people that her boyfriend Killer was going to get him. He also played the Reverend of the Church of What's Happening Now. If you may remember, if you saw that show, he was Reverend of the Church of What's Happening Now. He had, in my opinion, a pretty strange approach to what a reverend was supposed to do. But his skits with all his characters were just hilarious. But I remember, I mention it only because when something would go wrong in his skits, or when he was going wrong in his skits, his answer always was, "The devil made me do it. The devil made me do it." And I thought, then of course we'd all burst out laughing. I don't know that I missed many of his shows. It was so funny. It was an easy cop-out for everything that went wrong for him. And I guess my question is to you now. This is being aired at just about the midway point of 2017. As a matter of fact, I think it's the last Cleancast in June. So we will have reached the 6-month period of 2017. Well, it's just a good time to ask the question, how about you? Devil make you do anything in the last 6 months? Anything been wrong with your business today? I'm going to suggest to you that maybe not everything is the way you want it, but I'm also going to suggest to you that the devil didn't make you do it. Many of us forget, we make a business plan and then we put it on the shelf. Maybe at this 6-month journey, or if you're a company that's on September 30th year, at this 9-month journey, you might want to pull that business plan out, dust it off, and let's look at it and see, are you on track? If you don't have a business plan, shame on you. If you don't have a business plan, any road will get you there. It'll usually be, like Yogi Berra said, when you come to a fork in the road, take it. And you're going to be taking a lot of forks in the road and not knowing where you're going. So the person that doesn't have a business plan can say, "See, I'm not off track because I don't have a track I'm on." Well, that's not a real good answer, is it? Anyway, back to my original thought. Is you need to have a legitimate business plan. It's critical to be constantly reviewing it, changing it if it needs to be, and I don't mean just changing it willy-nilly, but changing it if something happens in society that changes the course that we should be taking. Way back in the 1980s, I had a very dear friend in another city that was really struggling, trying to get his business going. He, very nice, he and his wife were both devoted people, and were trying really hard to get their business going, and he called me one day and said he was just ecstatic that he was going to get a whole bunch of new business. And he was cleaning a retail store in this city, who, by the way, that was the home office of that city, of that retail store. And he said, "I got a chance to take 25 of them, more of them." And I knew him and I knew his disposition, and I said, I felt in me that he should not be doing this. But I started asking him questions like, with each store requiring 2 auto scrubbers, who's going to be responsible for purchasing 50 auto scrubbers? His answer to me was he'd have to buy them or lease them himself. Well, then with having to buy or lease 50 scrubbers, is the chain willing to sign an agreement that they'll buy them in the event that the agreement is canceled for any reason? And the answer was no, they wouldn't. Did he have the available staff to take over 25 stores all at once? His answer was he'd be able to find them. Then my next question was, did he have available cash flow to fund such an undertaking? To make the first 3 or 4 payrolls, pay the lease or bank payments on the equipment. And he said he was sure he could get the customer to pay 1 month in advance. He didn't. What about all the other supplies and equipment that you're going to need for the startup, David? Mop buckets, mops, vacuums, floor finish. You're going to talk to a supplier. Then I asked him, how does this type of an account fit into your long-range business plan? And he answered me in the way I wish he wouldn't have. He said, what business plan? Well, I had other questions, but these were the major ones that I asked him, and I thought as we were visiting, he would begin to see the message there. I wanted the best for my friend David. I didn't feel this was the best for him and his family, and I didn't think the devil was making him do it. Well, you guessed it, he jumped into the project with both feet. And the result, within 6 months, that regional manager that he had been friends with changed jobs, and he had a brand new manager who brought a friend in from another state to which they awarded the contract. My friend had, was devastated, called me, was just devastated. Well, that was not the time for me to say, I told you so. I did the best I could to console him, and we both watched his business sink into bankruptcy. I don't think the devil made him do it, but had he had a solid business plan and known the direction he was going, he probably would not have taken on that business, because retail was not his bag. He was doing that one store, which was down the street. Shouldn't have probably been doing that, but he could fund that one okay. But he should have backed out. I mean, it's tough when you're in sales. It's tough to say, I can't do it. And you start thinking about 25 retail stores. Think of the volume that brings on. I'm not talking about profit now. I'm talking about volume. A little story about myself. In the early years of my business, we had a manufacturing plant that represented 75% of our total volume. And it was a very good, very profitable account. But early one Monday morning, I got a call that they said because of the looming business reduction, that they were going to need to reduce their budget by 2/3 or to 1/3 of what it was. Boy, did that ever smart, Everybody at the customer's place of business knew what was happening. But we still spent a lot of time explaining to them that we only dump trash Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Next week it's Tuesday, Thursday. Then Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday. Or, we had all kinds of things like that. Of course, the management and purchasing knew what was going on, but everybody else said they agreed, but they didn't. We accomplished what we had to, but it wasn't without a lot of internal budget cuts, and our bottom line really suffered. Well, the lesson we learned there is manufacturing remained one of our main points of business all through our career. But the one thing we learned from that is we made it and we put it in our business plan. At no time will we take any accounts that that will be in excess of 10% of our total revenue. So in other words, if we were doing $10 million a year, we would not take any single account that was $1 million or more. We were not going to be put into that position again. I will tell you, down through the years, we took 2 accounts that bordered on like 11 or 12, and all we did then, it was close enough that we felt like we could put together a sales campaign to make up that other 1 or 2%, and we did. But nevertheless, that was one of the things we learned from that. That became part of our business plan. No account. Every time we had an opportunity to take on a major, huge account, we would look at it and say, how does that adjust to our business plan? So do a business plan, review it, make intelligent changes as the times require. Just don't get into the excitement of a one-time opportunity that doesn't fit. The devil didn't make you do it. You did it to yourself. So I hope that helps. Thanks for joining us today. See you next time.